This is a special presentation of WAAY 31 Sports. WAAY 31, your home for high school football.
It's the McCurry Big Game Friday night. Hello, Alabama, find a comfortable spot. We got high school football and it's coming out high. Now here we are and the lights are shining bright. Yeah, WAAY 31 is rocking all right. Nolan, Max, Xavier, and Antonio. It's the McCurry Band and Car Rental Big Game Friday night.
Two teams looking to contend for the regional title battle it out in the Shoals. It's Huntsville and Florence in our big game Friday night game of the week.
Well, in our rivalry game of the week, it's the battle of the White brothers. Kelvis White and Bob Jones head to Sparkman to take on LaRon White and the Senators in our rivalry game of the week. Welcome into Big Game Friday night, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Nolan Knight here with Max Cohan. Week 7 of the high school football season is here.
Yeah, playoff positioning is on the line tonight. The season has really flown by.
Yeah, you can say that again. Talking playoffs, it was a playoff-type atmosphere tonight at our game of the week where the Florence Falcons hosted Huntsville in a 7A showdown. For more on this one, we head out to Xavier Weary.
The 5-2 Florence Falcons host the 4-2 Huntsville Panthers tonight here at Brawley Stadium. Now, both teams come into this game with a record of 3-1 in region play. One team will take sole possession of second place right behind the Austin Black Bears. So how would this one fare out here at Brawley Stadium tonight? This is our big game Friday night game of the week. We travel to Brawley Stadium in Florence for this Class 7A Region 4 matchup between the 4-2 Huntsville Panthers and the 5-2 Florence Falcons. We pick the action up in the second quarter. Panthers with the ball. Quarterback Jackson McClung takes the snap and looks in the end zone for his tight end Alexander Moore, who snags the catch, but that's Skylar Triplett who jars the ball loose at the last minute as he recovers the fumble he forced. And on the ensuing Falcons drive, Demarion Vaughn takes the handoff, but the Panthers defense forces a fumble of their own. That's Gerald Goodlow causing the turnover as the Panthers get the ball right back in their own territory. And just a few plays later, it's running back Carlin Long who takes this handoff up the middle and finds his way into the end zone untouched for the first touchdown of the game. Panthers up 7-3. But the Falcons would look to respond later in the second quarter. Leo Glover takes the snap, and he's got nothing but 6 on his mind as he airs this deep in the end zone. And after a near interception, it lands in the hands of Jalen Simpson for the big score. The Falcons would head into the locker room up 13-7. And after a dominating second half performance, the Florence Falcons defeat the Huntsville Panthers 27-7. I'm with Florence head man Kenny Morrison. Coach, you are very excited about this victory. Talk to me about it.
Huge for us. Our kids played so hard. Their kids played hard too. They got a great football team. And like I said last week, we got a dang good football team too. Proud of our guys. This is a region championship caliber football team.
Now, Coach, listen, you and Coach Fleetwood both said coming into the game it was going to be a physical matchup. Late in the fourth quarter, temper started to flare. Kind of talk to me about what was going on there.
It just got a little chippy. Good football teams that battle each other like that for 4 quarters, it's going to get a little chippy. There was some licks passed both sides of the ball in every phase of it, kicking game too. Guys are just competitors on both sides, and it's going to happen like that sometimes.
And, Coach, last thing I want to ask you is what was working so well for you all tonight?
We just kept the ball and tried to keep moving the sticks, run some clock and put it in there when we could. We had some balls bounce our way. No, I'm not gonna lie about that. We had some tip right in our hand on a touchdown. But you know what? Players make plays, and our guys did a great job.
Coach, you all are now 6-2 in the season, 4-1 in region play. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. And again, the final score in this one is 27-7 as the Florence Falcons defeat the Huntsville Panthers. They really dominated the second half in this one, and right now they have taken second place in the region. But for now, I am reporting in Florence, Xavier Weary for 31 Sports.
All right, thanks, Xavier. A big win for Florence, but that was just one of many 7A games in North Alabama happening tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Over at Madison City Stadium, the James Cummins Jets were back in action, taking on that first-place team in Region 4, Austin. And this game turned out to be a shootout. First, it was the Black Bears on the prowl. De'Aaron Young would waste little time getting on the board, keeps this one himself. He's around the right side. He's going to find his way into the end zone for a quick 7-0 lead. But it was Gio Lopez who who would strike back as he takes the snap and throws one deep for Tracy Downey for the Jets' first touchdown of the night, and also pitch and catch. But that's when Gavin Foucault would put on a clinic, takes the handoff, hits the circle button, flicks the stick left, then the accelerator. He's all the way down inside the 10, and then just a few plays later, the Black Bears finish it off. De'Aaron Young keeps this one for himself as he finds the end zone yet again. This game would go back and forth all night, but in the end, it's Alston who walks away with the 41-33 win. Another game in that region taking place was the battle between Albertville and Grissom. The Tigers hosting the Aggies tonight, and the Grissom secondary played an awesome game. Reese Knight back to pass. He's pressured, and he's going to be picked off. Isaiah Lawrence comes up with it. He's headed the other way. That sets up great field position for the Tigers, and it's Kanye Varise who would rise to the occasion of putting Grissom into the red zone. The Aggies would make a stand, and thanks to this kick from Caden Burke, Grissom would take a 3-0 lead. Albertville would try to respond back, but again, that Grissom secondary comes up big. Cole Porter comes up with the INT. He's headed back the other way. It was a back-and-forth game tonight at Milton Frank, but in the end, it's Grissom that wins it 17-13.
Over at Ogle Stadium, the Red Raiders looking to keep their record perfect and stay at the top of the standings as they welcome in a Muscle Shoals team that's hoping to knock them down a peg. And with serious regional implications on the line, the Trojans came to play. How about the end around to Marcus Goodlow? And he says goodbye, putting it in high gear as he takes this one the distance. 54 yards on the house call, and he's going to need a minute to catch his breath after that one. And Muscle Shoals was in attack mode looking for the end zone again when Cole Woods drops back and probably wishes he could have this play action pass back. Decatur's Jackson Thatch with the end zone snatch, and the Red Raiders are fired up about this one, but Muscle Shoals walks away with this one 42-28 the final. In Athens, Hartselle also hoping to avoid their first loss of the season against the Golden Eagles team that's been struggling, and the Tigers didn't feel like wasting any time in this one. First drive of the game, Rye Fletcher on the board right there, around the corner and like a dog into open space with a stolen sock. He's too quick to catch. Touchdown Tigers. After that, Hartselle would make a defensive stand, stuffing Cam Gatewood on the fourth down try. That drive would end with a Hartselle field goal, so now up 10 and in the red zone. The Tigers take a look for the other Fletcher, and Jack Smith finds him in the end zone. 2 first-quarter touchdowns, 1 for each Fletcher. Isaiah has this one as Hartselle rolls to 8-0 and stays perfect in region play with the 45-21 victory. Over in Cullman, the Bearcats hosting a Columbia team they've beaten every time they've met. Keep in mind the Eagles have a 68-game losing streak, and add another one. The Bearcats win this one 35-6. All right, well, let's go ahead and take our first time out of the show, but don't go anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. Coming up next, we head to Sparkman for our rivalry game of the week. The Patriots battle the Senators.
It's the McCurry Big Game Friday night. It's the McCurry Big Game Friday night.
Welcome back into Big Game Friday night, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight.
For our next game, we got a good one. It's a battle of the White brothers. Kelvis White and Bob Jones hit the road to take on the Ron White and the Senators.
It's a family feud, and on top of that, it's an important 7A Region 4 matchup early on. Already up by 7, Patriots quarterback Rayshon Hardy takes it to the end zone with a nice run, putting the Pats up by double digits, but don't count the Senators out just yet, as now only down by 7. Running back Jaden Drip Thomas pushes his way into the end zone to tie the game. The Patriots back with the ball, and the Senators defense lays a smackdown on Rayshon Hardy. This is good game tackling here, folks. But Bob Jones would retaliate, picking up a touchdown of their own as Quentin Hubbard is wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots, as they go on to win this one on the road at Sparkman, 48-40. And on the sidelines of this one was our own sports analyst, Antonio Macbeth, who has more on tonight's back and forth battle.
First and foremost, the implications in this game were unbelievable. You have both teams 2-2 in the region coming into this one. It is a big rivalry game, and the head coaches are brothers. So there's bragging rights at stake on all 3 levels, and Sparkman made it a game, even though Bob Jones got up multiple scores early in this one. Sparkman had a chance to tie it up late, but ultimately they couldn't overcome turnovers, costly penalties, and missed extra points. But on the Bob Jones side, Rayshon Hardy at the quarterback position. Remember that name. Unbelievable on the ground and through the air, scoring multiple touchdowns. We caught up with Bob Jones coach Kelvis White to discuss how special that young man is and what it means to beat his brother again. Coach Kelvis White with Bob Jones. Coach, you now move to 3-2 in the region. You beat a rival in Sparkman, and you beat your brother. What'd you learn about your team in this wild rivalry game tonight?
It showed that we don't have any quitters. You know, they played for 4 quarters, from ups and downs. Sparkman never gave up. They kept coming. Even when we thought we put it away, they came back. But I'm proud of our guys for finishing. Even to the last play, we had to finish to get the win.
As far as the playoff picture goes, Coach, I know big picture, this meant a lot. What'd you tell your team after this one?
Well, I just told them it's do or die. And, you know, even next week, we just go out there with the same mentality that we got to beat Austin and get after them, you know, to have a chance to, you know, continue to make the playoffs. So it's by any means are we in the playoffs 100% or anything like that. We hadn't clinched anything, so we still have work to do.
Coach, congratulations again on the win, and good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you, sir.
And over at Rebel Stadium, it's West Morgan hoping to end a 3-game skid against the Wildcats as they try to bounce back from their first loss of the season. And the Rebels came out with a vengeance this week. We'll pick up on the goal line. It's Antonio Townsend that gets West Morgan on the board. He's around the right side for the easy walk-in touchdown, and it wouldn't take much longer to find the end zone again. End around for Jamari Burgess, and he's got great vision, finds the hole, finds the end zone, another score for the Rebels. And this Rebels team has some athletes. The next time they get the ball, they move it easily once again. This time, it's Jalen Fletcher finding holes and breaking tackles as West Morgan bounces back with a win tonight over West Limestone, 34-0. Over in Cullman, the Lions looking to pull off an upset and knock off a Rogers team that hasn't beaten them since 2004, and they would start this game with an early first-quarter field goal off the boot of Landon Marcano, 3-0 Brooks. But Rogers would drive back down, pass to Darby Clemens, and he snags this one and picks up a big first down, and that would lead to this. Brock Killen coming right at you. He powers his way through for 6 to give Rogers the lead, but the Lions would take that lead right back. Check out this play from Seth Walton. He's going to make a slew of defenders miss on this one before he finally powers his way in for 6, and in the end, Brooks sneaks away with the 24-21 win.
Staying in Class 4A over at Randolph School tonight, the Raiders were hoping to build on a 5-game winning streak, and they were hosting DAR. The Patriots looking for their first region win of the season, and they would have a hard time leaving the ball tonight against Randolph. Quick pass to Brady Largan. He lowers the shoulder for a few yards, but that drive would stall thanks to this play from Daniel Martin. Tell you what, he's got a nose for the football, comes up with the sack for the Raiders, and then the Randolph offense gets moving. Andrew Hunter with an easy pass to Grayson Davenport. He shakes off one defender, and he's going to pick up a first down before he's finally brought down by a host of Patriots. And then the Raiders run the easiest play in the playbook. It's called give the ball to Nick Strong. That's what they do. He stops on a dime and accelerates. He's down the far sideline and in for the score. The Raiders dominate at home tonight as they win their 6th straight, taking this one 55-0.
Over at Collinsville, the Panthers hoping to bounce back from a brutal loss to Fife as they welcome in Eider, with the Hornets flying in on a 5-game skid. Last time these teams met, Collinsville won 60-6, and the Panthers hit the field looking for more of the same tonight. Still scoreless early in the first, Eider faces a 3rd and long deep in their own territory. They go with a pass to Tyler Kidwell, but it won't be nearly enough. Later, facing another tough down and distance, Collinsville comes swarming. This time it's Aiden Daniel in on the sack. So now the Panthers take over, and they're taking some risks. A handoff on 4th down, but Mason McCarty makes it look like the right call, using his blockers to roll downfield and into the end zone for a Collinsville touchdown. And the Panthers would pile it on from there, walking away with the 41-12 win. Some other action tonight. The Eagles take down the Bison 41-14, and Fife stays undefeated, showing off the offensive firepower against Sandrock 70-14 the final. 2A Region 7 has some really talented teams this year. Whitesburg Christian, they were in action at home tonight, hoping to play their way into the playoff picture as they took on Section.
Yeah, and if they play like they did tonight, they might have a shot at those playoffs. We'll pick up in the first quarter, first drive of the game in Section, trying to make a goal line stand. How about this? TFL for Jedediah Spark. But a few plays later, Whitesburg finds the end zone. Caleb Richardson rolls right. He's going to connect with Thomas Harmon for the 2-yard score to take a 7-0 lead. And it wouldn't take long to get back into the red zone. Sam Barnes on the slant, and he throws a couple of whipping tacklers aside and brings the Warriors all the way down inside the 5. And on the next play, it's Ian Putman that puts it away. He follows the big boys up front, and the Warriors take a 14-0 lead as they roll at home tonight. They move to 4-3 on the season, snapping a 3-game skid, 36-24, the final. All right, well, let's go ahead and call our second time out of the show.
But coming up next on Big Game Friday night, we head out to Tanner for a 2A Region 8 showdown. The Rattlers welcome Lexington to town.
Stay tuned for more Big Game Friday night. It's the McCurry Big Game Friday night. It's the McCurry Big Game Friday night.
Hey, we're the Florence Percussion, and you're watching Big Game Friday night on WAAY 31.
Oh man, how about that? Big congratulations to the Florence High School marching band for being awarded this week's Flow Air Spirit Award.
The Falcons band consists of 102 members and received all superior ratings last Saturday at the Pirate Classing Marching Competition at Winfield and received the highest band scores of all Alabama schools participating.
All right, how about we get back to some football now? Max, let's head out to Tanner, where the Rattlers were hosting the region leaders in Lexington.
Yeah, and over at Tanner, the Rattlers were hosting Lexington, a team that's won 4 in a row, and the Golden Bears got off to a hot start, already up 20, when Byron Lane gets the handoff and finds a gap. He's almost tripped, but manages to keep his balance and then makes 2 Rattlers hit each other, and he breaks free. That, my friends, is what we call life in the fast lane. The 50-plus yard score makes it 26-zip, but Tanner wasn't going down without a fight. Carl Parham, seeing the pocket collapse, and decides to go. Taking off for a nice gain, he hits the dirt instead of getting hit. It will be more of the same later in the drive as Parham disappears in the pocket but pops out, sprinting his way towards the sideline for another big gain. Eventually, they'd score their first points of the contest. Handoff to Jarek Thompson. This one is the textbook definition of a walk-in touchdown, but unfortunately, the rest of the game was not as easy as that play. Lexington picks up the win 52-20, the final.
All right, changing gears and talking some 3A football now. Mars Hill, we're hoping to build on a 6-game winning streak as they welcomed Phil Campbell to town. And this Phil Campbell team has had a good season this year, but it's never easy to play Mars Hill. And although Phil Campbell defense would make a couple of good plays tonight, like this sack here on Griffin Hansen, for the most part, it was all Mars Hill. William Owens taking this handoff, following those big blockers and scoring here to make this a 6-score ball game. Phil Campbell would move the ball well in the second. Hudson Hyde on the triple option keeps this one for himself. He picks up a big chunk of yards on the far sideline, but they would turn the ball over, and this dive from Braxton Mayfield would put it away as Mars Hill dominates in this one at home, 56-0 on homecoming. Some other scores from 3A Region 8. Clements hosted Elkmont tonight, and the Colts pick up the win in that one, while at Colbert County, we had a rivalry showdown with the Indians hosting Heights. The Indians take it 28-12.
Before we go, let's share with you one more game. Crossville was back at home tonight looking for their first win of the season, taking on Douglas. And the Lions would have their hands full in this one, already trailing 35-0 in the second half, but they have some fight in them. 1st and 10 for Crossville, and they go with the toss right, and it's working. How about the speed from Steve Wan? He's down the far sideline and is pushed out deep in Douglas territory. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. That's my motto. One more time, then how about once more? It's another first down to Crossville with a little life. They keep going to him as he dives in for a first down, and despite the second half score, it's not enough as Douglas dominates 42-14. In the other 5A Region 7 games that took place tonight, Boaz hosted Arab in a Marshall County rivalry, and the Knights take down the Pirates 56-17, while at Scottsboro, the Wildcats were hosting Sardis, and the home team prevails 25-0. All right, well, now it's time for us to take our third and final timeout of the night.
Yeah, but don't go anywhere. Coming up next on Big Game Friday Night, we introduce to you our premier urgent care fan of the night. This time, we head to Randolph.
Stay tuned for more Big Game Friday Night.
It's the McCurry Big Game Friday Night.
game, Friday night fan of the night. Let's go Raiders!
All right, big congratulations to Pate Stutz. He's a senior at Randolph cheering on the Raiders is what he does. He's the student section leader. He's also on the track and field team. A big congratulations to Pate Stutz. He is tonight's premier urgent care fan of the night. And of course, we would also like to take this time to say a big thank you to our radio sponsors for helping to make this show possible. We could not do it without them. All right, well, that's going to wrap things up here on Big Game Friday night tonight for our Week 7 show. For our producers, editors, shooters, and everyone back in production, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
We'll see you all back here next week, same time, same place for Week 8.
It should be a lot of fun. Good night, everybody. Enjoy tonight's Top Lights.
Watching a special presentation of WAAY 31 Sports.